Hello, my friends. It's Julie again from Dragonfly Awakening of Colorado. I want to talk today about something I've been noticing lately, both in conversations with clients and in the broader spiritual community. It has to do with how we handle discomfort. It can show up in subtle ways like a passing irritation, or in bigger ways that turn your whole world upside down for a little while. You might be feeling steady and grounded, and then something unsettles you. And the temptation is to look away, to protect your calm at all costs. But is that always the healthiest response? So imagine you wake up one Saturday and you feel amazing. You've been really intentional about your focus lately, watching your thoughts, being discerning about what you watch on TV or on social media, and generally just protecting your energy. You've been working to stay in a high vibration, and it's paying off. You feel lighter, clearer, optimistic about where you're headed. And then something happens. Something pops into your experience like an uninvited guest on Thanksgiving. A headline, a comment, an unexpected conversation, something that doesn't match the frequency you started the day with. You feel your body tighten up a little, your mind wants to engage, and then another thought comes in. I've worked too hard to lower my vibration now. So you scroll past it, you mute it, you redirect the conversation. You decide it's better not to give it attention. And sometimes that choice is wise. Not everything deserves your attention. But here's the question I have for you. If something keeps showing up in your awareness and it keeps creating a reaction in your body, is trying to ignore it actually maintaining your vibration? Or is it just creating more resistance and postponing something that needs to be felt and understood? A lot of you might be familiar with the law of attraction. And if you are, you probably understand that feeling as good as you can, as often as you can, helps you attract experiences that feel good back to you. I actually agree with that. But here's something important to remember. What you attract isn't based on a fleeting emotion. It's based on your dominant vibration over time. And you're human. Yes, you came here to experience joy, to expand, to create, but you are not going to feel joyful every second of every day, and it's important to understand that that's not a failure on your part. That's being human. Somewhere along the way, many of us picked up the idea that in order to be happy, uncomfortable experiences shouldn't happen at all. That if something feels bad, we must have done something wrong. And beyond that, we have responsibilities. We have jobs, we have families, we have things that require our attention. So when uncomfortable feelings show up, we often push them aside because we need to function. We tell ourselves we'll deal with it later. And in a lot of environments, being able to stay productive and composed no matter what is happening internally is seen as strength. So we learn to compartmentalize. We learn to keep going. It makes sense that we operate this way. But life includes contrast. It includes moments that don't feel good. It includes discomfort. So what do we often do when that discomfort shows up? We try to close our eyes to the bad things. We say, no, that's not allowed in my experience, even though it's already there. We try to shut it down. We scroll past it. We avoid the conversation. We tell ourselves we shouldn't focus on it. We try to think our way back into feeling better as quickly as possible. And again, that makes sense. Nobody enjoys feeling unsettled. But here's the part I want you to consider. Growth doesn't happen in total comfort. Expansion doesn't happen when everything stays easy. Discomfort isn't a sign that you failed at manifestation. It's often a sign that something is stretching. And when we refuse to feel that stretch, We don't eliminate it, we just delay it. When we say, no, I'm not going to look at that, I'm not going to think about it, we often think we're protecting our vibration. But what we're actually doing is pushing against part of our own experience. And pushing creates resistance. If something keeps showing up in your awareness and you're constantly trying not to see it, that effort takes energy. It creates tension and anxiety. Not because the thing itself is so powerful, but because you're fighting your own reaction to it. Some things need to be seen. Not obsessed over or dramatized, just acknowledged. And here's the good news. Facing something uncomfortable doesn't automatically mean you're going to suffer. It doesn't mean you're lowering your vibration. Often it's the opposite. When you allow yourself to look at what's uncomfortable, without panic and without denial, you give yourself the opportunity to grow from it. Alignment isn't about controlling every external input. It's about how you relate to what shows up. Many spiritual teachers say that everything that happens serves your expansion in some way. Whether you see it immediately or not, life tends to move you toward greater clarity about who you are and what you want. So this uncomfortable thing that's happening, what if it's not there to punish you? What if it's refining you? Maybe you lost the job because something more aligned was waiting for you. Maybe the difficult conversation is clarifying a boundary for you. Maybe the relationship ending is revealing what you actually value. The key isn't pretending it feels good. The key is asking, how could this be serving me? You don't have to know the answer right away. You can simply say, I don't understand this yet, but I trust that I will. So what does this look like in real time? This doesn't mean you have to dive headfirst into every upsetting thing. It doesn't mean you should start a daily doom scrolling routine or get out there and argue with strangers online. It means noticing your reaction. It means pausing and saying, okay, something in me just reacted. You don't even have to name it right away. In fact, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you've been pushing feelings down for so long that you don't have words to describe them yet. So instead of trying to label it immediately, you just allow it to be there. You feel the tightness, the heaviness, the heat, the shakiness, whatever it is. And you let yourself sit with it for a moment without trying to fix it or override it. You just breathe through it and allow it to exist. If clarity comes, that's great. Maybe you realize it's fear or anger or grief or a boundary you haven't spoken yet. But the first step isn't naming it. The first step is just allowing it. And when you allow yourself to feel what's actually there, without dramatizing it and without running from it, something interesting happens. The charge starts to move. That's not lowering your vibration. That's clearing it. It's not the uncomfortable feeling that lowers your vibration. It's the resistance to it. There's a middle way here. You don't have to go looking for things to upset you. You don't have to immerse yourself in every problem in the world. You don't have to carry what isn't yours. But you also don't have to pretend you didn't see something that clearly affected you. The middle way is this. You don't chase discomfort, but when it finds you, you don't run from it either. You just pause, you notice, you let yourself feel what's actually there. And then you respond from awareness instead of avoidance. Avoidance builds pressure. Awareness releases it. In real life, this could look like reading the headline, noticing the reaction in your body, taking a breath, and deciding consciously whether to engage or not. It could look like staying in the conversation long enough to understand why it bothered you, or what might be there for you to learn, instead of immediately shutting it down. It could look like allowing yourself to feel disappointment or anger for a few minutes, instead of trying to override it with positivity. That's the middle way. True alignment isn't fragile. It includes the full range of being human. Discomfort isn't the enemy, it's a doorway. And you get to decide whether you walk through it consciously or keep circling around it. And when you're ready, you'll walk through it. You always do. And you may find it wasn't as overwhelming as it first seemed. Thank you so much for watching. If this content resonates with you, I'd love it if you would like and subscribe so you don't miss future videos. And if you're moving through something that feels particularly big right now, you don't have to navigate that alone. I offer energy healing and life transition support sessions to help you release emotional and energetic overload so you can move forward with more clarity and steadiness. You can learn more or book a session at dragonflyawakening.com. Until next time, much love to you. Keep shining that light, beautiful soul. Bye.